Today on Extra Credit, learn how to draw a cartoon pig and duck, plus a career for people who love animals. Stay tuned.
This program is made possible in part by Michigan Department of Education, the State of Michigan, and by viewers like you.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Pizzo, and welcome to Extra Credit, where we meet interesting people, explore new ideas, and discover fun places together. Each episode will introduce you to people who use math, science, sports, writing, and the arts to make the world an interesting place. Before we get started, I have someone I want you to meet.
Hi friends, my name is Emily.
Nice to meet you.
Guess what? It's Animals Day on Extra Credit. Let's start by hearing from David at the Detroit Zoo. He has a story for us about the hyena and the crow.
Jambu. Hello, my name is David, and today I'm telling you the story of the hyena and the crow. One day, Crow was hosting a party for some well-loved relatives that had come to visit. They were having a very delicious meal which contained honey and meat. The aroma of the food drifted in the air to the crow's friend, Hyena, who lived across the valley. Filled with greed and desire, Hyena walked in the direction of the tempting aroma from the sumptuous dish. Although not invited, Hyena planned to join in the party. Crow came out hurriedly as Hyena was entering. "Hold off right there, Hyena. What brings you to my home this early morning?" "The temptation was too much. The air is filled with sweet, delicious smell of food. I will attend your party as well." Crow was embarrassed in front of his guests. "I'm sorry, Hyena. This party is not for you." Hyena turned back and disappeared. The following day, Hyena came calling at Crow's home, hoping to share in the leftovers, but found none. He pleaded with Crow to show him where he had harvested the special sweet honey. Crow asked Hyena to come back early the following day to start the long journey to the honey harvesting destination. When Hyena arrived, Crow led him to the top of a nearby hill. He asked Hyena to hold his tail, feathers, and be ready for takeoff. They lifted up into the air and headed toward the honey field. Soon, the weight of the hyena started pulling Crow's tail feathers out one by one. When the last feather pulled free, Hyena went tumbling down to the earth, landing first on his back legs. Ever since that day, the back legs of hyenas have been shorter than the front, which is why they always walk in a slanted position. And that, my friends, is the story of the hyena and the crow. I hope you enjoyed the story. And until next time, kwaheri and goodbye.
What? It's that time already? I just received word that Dr. Blatch is going to check in with us to see how we're doing with our writing challenge, involving 5 random, unrelated items, like a moldy shoelace, banana-flavored toothpaste, a car shaped like a cow, and a smushed bowl of peas. Get ready.
Megan!
Oh my gosh, that scares me
Megan.
every time. Yes, Dr. Blatch, hello.
Do you know what day
I'm
it
working
is?
on your writing challenge.
I'm checking in about the story. You and all of the volunteers and the children, are you writing your stories?
Oh, right. Yes, we are working on our stories right now. So my story is going to be about a family of cows. And so one day, the family of cows, they get into their cow-shaped cars. They're running late, so they brought their breakfast of mushy peas with them. And they're riding in their car, and they're going to the shoelace store.
That sounds like the beginning of a story, but I don't know where that story is. Is there a problem in the story? Stories, they have to have problems. I'm not going to read a boring story with no problem.
I mean, there's a cow car. Well, yeah, I guess my story doesn't have a problem yet, Dr. Blatch. I wonder what kind of problem they could get into trying to get to a shoelace store. Can I think on it and get back to you?
I'm so bored
Okay,
here
good.
in Antarctica. I need these stories, and I need them to be good stories. So with the problem, make sure it's interesting. And do you remember, Megan, where you have to send them? And remember, I want you to send either typed writing, a picture of the writing, or a video of the students reading the writing.
All right, that sounds good, Dr. Blatch. I will get working on this story, add in a problem and a solution.
Good. I look forward to it because I have to say, the penguins outside my house, they don't tell very good stories at all.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, I will get to work. Thanks, Dr. Blatch.
Welcome to InPACT at Home, where we practice interrupting prolonged sitting with activity. I'm Jess Buckley, and I'm here to help get you moving for the next 8 minutes. You'll be surprised at what these moments of movement can do for you and the rest of your family so you can stay active and healthy at home. So go ahead, get up, and let's start moving. For this activity, we're going to be doing a movement flow. But first, let's get warmed up. So I want everybody to lay down in the middle of the room, all the way flat, and then go ahead, get up, all the way to standing, all the way back down. We're gonna get up again, but this time we're gonna do it differently than what you just did. So if you used your hand, maybe this time you don't use your hand. Come all the way up to standing, and then all the way back down. And if you did your right side, maybe this time we go to the left side, push yourself up, and then all the way back down. Every single time, we're finding a new way to get up. Let's do a couple more, all the way back down, all the way up. Maybe we don't use our hands, whoop. And let's finish, last one, all the way up to standing. Awesome job, I'm feeling warm. Okay, next movement called a loaded beast. We're gonna finish in a quadruped. So 2 different components. Quadruped is kind of like a tabletop, so straight arms out in front, but our knees are up off the ground. So this is where we're gonna finish. Loaded beast, you're gonna push your hips back towards your heels, and then we're gonna push fast, catch yourself in quadruped. Push back, load that beast, push forward, catch yourself in quadruped. Let's do 3 more. Maybe we come forward a little faster. Last one, boom, drop your knees, rest if you need to. Next one, we're gonna stay in that quadruped, so staying on all fours, just like this. I'm gonna pick up my left foot, bring it underneath, sit all the way down, just like that. And then I'm gonna reverse it, come back. So push up, bring my foot underneath me, just like that. If you need to drop your knees, go ahead. And then we're gonna go to the other side. Kick that foot, sit on your butt, drop your leg, pick it up all the way back through. Let's do 3 each side, trying to move a little faster. Tap your butt, push it back. Tap your butt, push it back, and then finish seated. Awesome job. So that one was lateral kick through. We were starting in a quadruped, kicking through from side to side. And now, if this is where we finished, we're gonna bring this knee underneath us, reach our top foot out in front. So this is the first version, little modified side plank. We're gonna reach our top hand out in front, bring our top foot up, and then reach knee to elbow, just like that. Now, if you're like, I can totally do that, that's super easy. Bottom foot comes out in front. We're in that side plank, but you still have to march. Bring that elbow to knee, whoop. Reach it out back, elbow to knee. Reach it out, elbow to knee. Reach it out, drop that foot, drop that knee. Come all the way down, flip it to the other side. So if you need your bottom knee to be a kickstand, that's super fine. Top leg is the working leg, top arm is the working arm. We're gonna bring elbow to knee, reach it out, elbow to knee, reach it out. If you're like, that's super easy, I got that. Bottom leg, come straight, keep those hips nice and high. Reach, elbow to knee together, extend. Reach, come together, last one. Bring that foot down, bring that bottom knee down. Awesome job. All right, next movement, we're gonna start in a 90-90 position. So all that means is front knees at 90, back knees at 90. My chest is up tall in front. I'm gonna open up my back hip by pushing through my back foot, come to a bear sit, swing it around, finish in 90-90 on the other side. So let's go back and forth. Just like that, couple more. And when we finish on the side that we started on, you're gonna bring your front foot closer to your thigh, your back foot in a little bit closer to your butt. Push up through your knees, come to a half kneeling position, and then come stand all the way up. This front foot, you're gonna be nice and strong on it. Back foot is just a kickstand. So we're gonna push your butt back, reach for your toes with your opposite hand, come all the way back up, reach, come all the way back up. So my back foot, super light on my toes, 90% of my weight is on this front foot. Last one on this side, and then let's switch. So again, super light on my kickstand, push your hips back, reach for your toes with your opposite hand. This is gonna make sense in a second why we're practicing loading one hip at a time. Last 3, last 2, and last 1. Awesome. We're gonna finish with a little game. You'll see why we practice. We need 3 different objects. 3 different objects, whatever you have around. I have 3 balls right here. I'm gonna place them down in front of me, not too far away from you. You'll see why. I'm gonna find all of my weight on my one foot. All of my weight on one foot. I'm gonna reach down, grab one of the objects, come all the way back to standing. Reach down, whoop. If you fall, it's fine. Stand up, grab the second object. Reach, grab that third object, come all the way up, and then reset. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Maybe your objects don't roll like mine do. Stand on one leg, super heavy. Reach down, grab one object, reach down, grab the second object, reach down, grab the third object, come all the way up to standing, and that's it. All right, we're done. Great job. I hope you enjoyed today's movement break. InPACT at Home is a chance to apply the skills you may have learned in your PE class to improve your health. To learn more about the health benefits associated with daily movement, visit impactathome.umich.edu. Now, don't forget to fill out your daily log, and we will see you again during our next workout.
Support for this program is provided by the Michigan Public Health Institute and the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Let's take a trip to Potter Park Zoo in Lansing, Michigan to learn more about what it means to be a zookeeper.
Hi, I'm Genesis, and today I'm here with zookeeper Annie Markham. So, where are we today?
We're here at Potter Park Zoo. I'm a zookeeper here. I take care of our carnivores and our primates. We have over 400 individual animals here at the zoo, and they range from really small things to really big things like the rhinos. Most of the animals you see in a zoo are born here. Zoos don't want to take animals from the wild. We work really hard to help conserve animals in the wild, so we want the animals that live here to be happy here.
What is a typical day of work like here at the zoo?
Well, we start our day out by checking in on all of our animals and making sure that everybody is healthy and accounted for, and then we start getting breakfast ready. I'm going to give you a pair of gloves so your hands don't smell like fish. So we'll pull all the diets out we need for the day and start to go out and hand out our diets. So he stands up so I can get a good look at his belly and take a look at the bottom of his paws.
Up.
Good. And then after breakfast is served, we start cleaning. We go into the exhibits and make sure that everything is safe and that all the exhibits are clean. And then while we're out there, we usually put out their daily enrichment. So we're going to go put Sebastian's food out in the exhibit and hide his enrichment for him. Enrichment is something new and different we add to an exhibit or a space to make sure that their lives are enriched. It's something new for them to investigate, and it usually is something that we try to elicit a natural behavior from them.
What parts of STEM do you need in your job?
I incorporate science in my job every day. We need to know the natural histories of our animals so that we can replicate that for them here so that they're happy and healthy. We also calculate their diets, which change from time to time. Working with the animals here at Potter Park Zoo and seeing them happy and healthy is the most rewarding part of my day. It's also very rewarding to get to work with visitors that come to the zoo and teach them about the animals that we love.
I had a wild time with zookeeper Annie Markham today. Explore your possibilities.
Hello everyone and welcome to this dose of virtual vitamin Z. My name is Brad. I'm an education specialist for the Detroit Zoological Society, and today looks a little different than normal. Today I'm actually in the Matilda R. Wilson Free Flight Aviary at the Detroit Zoo. And you might be wondering, why am I here today? Well, I wanted to bring you all along on an adventure today to one of my favorite spots at the zoo. The Free Flight Aviary is an immersive habitat where we can see birds flying around in a habitat that looks a lot like where you would find them in the wild. So please come along on this journey with me, and we're going to do some bird watching, as I like to call this segment, Bird Watching with Brad. But first, let's take a look at some vocabulary words and some of the different skills we're going to be working on today. So our vocabulary words for today, the first word is dimorphic, which means that there's two distinct forms of something. So one thing could look two different ways. The next word is plumage, which is a way to describe feathers that cover a bird and their size, their shape, their color, the overall pattern of the bird's feathers. And the last word is juvenile, which refers to something that is young. The skills and concepts that we will be working on today are ecological knowledge, because we're going to learn about some of the birds that are in the Matilda R. Wilson Free Flight Aviary, and our activity will be relating to humane education, which we will get to later. Let's use this bird identification sheet that can be found when you visit the Detroit Zoo. Let's use color, size, and where we find the birds to help us identify who they are. Now that we have an idea of some of the vocabulary words and some of the different skills we're working on today, let's take a walk through the aviary. So when we first enter the aviary, we're going to see this large tree and this water feature, but immediately what I saw was actually these two birds right up here. The Jambu fruit dove is a small, colorful forest dove that inhabits mangrove swamps and rainforests in the countries of Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, and Brunei. If you listen closely while in the Matilda R. Wilson Free Flight Aviary, you can hear their soft cooing. They're usually described as shy birds who spend their time roosting, nesting, and feeding, and usually you will only see them alone or in pairs. They are sexually dimorphic, which means males and females differ in appearance. Think about cardinals or red-winged blackbirds that are common in North America. Males have a crimson face, a white chest, and a pink patch near their throat, while the females have a light purple face and a green chest. The Jambu fruit dove usually lays 1 or 2 eggs, and the egg is cared for by both the male and the female for 2 to 3 weeks. The parents never leave the egg unattended. One will always stay in the nest while the other is looking for food. Here you can see the appropriately named Scarlet Ibis. The range of the Scarlet Ibis is very large, and colonies can be found throughout areas of South America and the Caribbean islands. Adult plumage is virtually all scarlet. The feathers might show some various tints and shades, but otherwise they're completely red except for a small tint of black on the tips of their wings. Currently you can see some juvenile Scarlet Ibis here at the Detroit Zoo, but they will look a little different than their parents. The juvenile plumage is a mix of gray, brown, and white. As they get older, they will develop their adult plumage. They develop this deep scarlet color because of their diet, which is rich in crustaceans like shrimp, crabs, and crayfish. Their distinctive long and thin bills are used to probe for food in soft mud or under plants. The Scarlet Ibis is a very, very social bird, unlike the Jambu fruit dove who likes to stay alone or in pairs. They're very community-minded when they search for food and even in protection of young. They live in large flocks, usually of 30 or more, and when they are building their nests, they stay close together. They try to arrange their nests in close proximity or in the same tree. When you first enter the Free Flight Aviary, make sure to look up in that large tree. That is where you will likely find the Scarlet Ibis. Next on my journey through the Free Flight Aviary, I ran into this guy. This is the spur-winged lapwing. You will see them running around on the ground. They are a type of shorebird. It's really easy to recognize the spur-winged lapwing because it's got this unmistakable look. They have these very long legs. They have a black crown on their head and these red eyes. And they also have this very striking call. Almost kind of sounds like an alarm clock going off. This species, they prefer marshes and similar freshwater or wetland habitats. The food the spur-winged lapwing eats are insects and other invertebrates that it picks up off the ground. The spur-winged lapwing also gets its name because it has these small little claws on their wings, which they'll sometimes use as a way to defend themselves or their nest from animals. And now as we're looking at this lapwing, look at this other bird over here. This bird right here is the gray-capped emerald dove. Though it has lots of other names, it can also be known as the common emerald dove or the green dove or the green-winged pigeon. They're pretty common throughout India and Southeast Asia. The gray-capped emerald dove can be identified when you're in the Free Flight Aviary by its iridescent green feathers and that gray cap that it looks like it has on its head. When you are in the Matilda R. Wilson Free Flight Aviary, and if you are looking for the gray-capped emerald dove, my suggestion is to look down. They are terrestrial birds. They like to spend a lot of time on the ground. That's where they can find a lot of the food they eat. We have time to look for one more bird while we are here in the Free Flight Aviary, and look who it is. It is the boat-billed heron. As you can guess, this heron gets its name from the massive, broad, scoop-like bill. Birds are really neat because you can look at their feet and get an idea of where they live and what they do, maybe even what they eat. And same with their bills. You can look at the shapes of their bills and try to guess, what do I think this bird eats? So let's look at our boat-billed heron and think, what kind of food might this bird eat? Boat-billed herons feed on shrimp and small fish. Or a lot of times they'll hang on the branches of the mangroves and then stand over the water and wait for food to swim by. And then when it does, they can scoop it up with that large bill. There are so many birds in the free flight aviary that it's hard to cover it in just a single section of bird watching. So we're actually going to break up the free flight aviary into multiple sections of bird watching. But before we end this, I know what you're thinking at home. Brad, this is amazing. These birds are so amazing. But what can I do for birds at home? Well, let's look at this activity for how you can help birds in your own backyard. Transparent glass is invisible to both humans and birds, but humans can use door frames and other visual clues to anticipate the presence of glass and avoid a collision. Birds, of course, don't share this ability. They perceive reflected images as literal objects. It is estimated that over 1 million birds die from bird collisions each year. We can help prevent bird collisions by creating a bird decal. Most birds will avoid patterns or shapes on glass. The materials we're going to need today are a piece of paper, a pencil, scissors, and if you want to color it, you can use some crayons or markers. First thing we're going to do is we are going to draw our bird decal that we're going to cut out. You can draw anything, you don't have to draw a bird if you want, but I chose a bird. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our scissors and we're going to cut out our bird decal. Once we have our bird decal cut out, we can now color it if we want. So I'm going to grab some crayons, I'm going to add some color to it. And here it is, my finished anti-bird collision decal. This can be hung up in your window. Like I said, to make it most effective, you'd want to use multiple shapes or decals and space them at the very most 4 inches apart. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching this dose of virtual vitamin Z. My challenge for you is next time you're at the Detroit Zoo, spend some time in the free flight aviary and listen to the birds. See if you can find all the different species that live in here and just take some time to observe their behaviors. Until next time, you can always visit our website at detroitzoo.org for more virtual content. And otherwise, I will see you all at the next Bird Watching with Brad session in the Matilda R. Wilson Free Flight Aviary.
mathematicians, are you ready for our daily math challenge with Diane? Today, we'll look at different multiplication equations and hunt for visual patterns. Let's see how many patterns we can uncover.
Hey everyone, Diane here. Today, we're going to be looking at some different multiplication equations and see if we can see a pattern. I'm going to be using some base 10 blocks. I'm also going to show you how to draw these quickly, just in case you want to share all this awesome knowledge with your people. So for this, we'll be using a unit. We'll also be using a rod. And then lastly, we'll be using a flat. Last time, we talked a little bit about multiplication when we solved 14 times 2 and 18 times 2. We talked a little bit about the multiplication and how it is repeated equal groups. And our example from last time had 2 groups of 14. For today, we are going to be focused on multiplying by 10. So our overarching question is, what do you notice happening when we multiply a set of related equations by 10? We're going to place 3 times 1 equals 3 here to have a reference point. The first equation we are going to look at is 3 times 10 equals what? And what does that mean, and what would the product be? Oh. Yeah, that is 3 groups of 10, or 30. Could you think about using the base 10 blocks to represent this equation? What was that? Oh, very nice. I heard some of y'all talking about a couple different ways. Someone brought up that we could use 30 units to show 30. We could also have 3 of the rods because each rod is made up of 10 units. That's interesting. I notice something is going on with these digits. Let's do another one and see what happens. So now let's use these 3 rods and think about 30 times 10. What do you think that would be? Oh, that's a good idea. I heard one of you suggest making 10 groups of 30, so I'm going to do that now. So, what I see here is that we have 10 groups of 3 rods. So, when we're looking at that, I want us to think about what we are seeing. So, is there anything that changed with these blocks? Exactly. I went from having 3 rods to having 30 rods. Whew, goodness. That's a lot to keep track of. Is there anything that I could do to make it easier? Oh, what was that? Did you say trade 10 rods for a flat? That sounds like a good plan to make our pieces more manageable. I'm gonna do that now. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can trade that. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Could trade that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Trade that. Whew, now I've got 3 flats. Do you all notice a pattern with our products? I keep noticing something. I keep seeing that there's 3 of something. What's that all about? So let's look back at our problem so far. When I multiplied 3 times 10, I started off with 3 units of 1. When I multiplied by 10, I ended up with 3 rods of 10. Then, when I started with 3 rods of 10 and I multiplied by 10, I ended up with 3 flats of 100. But why? Can you whisper your thinking to me? Oh, that's some good thinking. It probably has something to do with when we multiply by 10. Each time we end up with 3 of the next place value. Why do you think multiplying by 10 would have that effect? Oh, I heard someone say something about place values being 10 times greater than the one before it. Let's dig into that a little more. We know that it takes 10 of a certain place value to make one set of the next one. So if I have 1 and then do 10 times that, I would be at 10. When I think about 1 times 10, my 1 digit started in the ones place, and then it looks like it moves over 1 place to the tens place. So now let's think about that with 10 times 10. That is something I know. 10 times 10 equals 100. What do you notice happening with the 1 digit that time? Exactly. Each time, our 1 is moving over 1 place value. So now, let's try that with our string of equations, and I'm going to use a digit card just so that way you can see. So we saw that 3 times 10 would be 30 and moved over 1 place. Then we figured out that 30 times 10 would be 300. Because each place value is 10 times larger than the place value to the right, the digit 3 doesn't change, but its value does. I wonder if this would work if it was a different number. Let's try it with 12 times 10. You draw your base 10 blocks out, and I'm going to make my 10 groups down here. Let's meet back up in just a bit. I see here that we've got 10 groups of 12 now. What did you find the total to be? Would you tell me? Exactly. We ended up with 120. Remember how we talked about the digits shifting? Did that still happen here? It sure did. How cool is it that we have a 2-digit number multiplied by 10 and the digits were still shifting? So today, we explored a set of related equations that dealt with what happened when we multiplied numbers by 10. We noticed that each time the digits stayed the same, but the values changed. The pattern worked because each place value is 10 times larger than the place value to the right. Next time, we're going to explore this pattern more and see how far we can stretch our thinking with the pattern. See you then for the next Power of 10 exploration. Bye, y'all.
Hi, I'm Joe Wose. This is Cartoon Academy. Thanks for tuning in. Habitat is where an animal lives, and there are lots of different kinds of habitats. An animal can live in the North Pole, or in the jungle, or in a desert. Today we're going to visit a farm to meet two friends, a pig and a duck. Let's draw. We're going to start with the pig's snout. It's an oval shape on its side. We're going to repeat that oval, but this time it's going to be vertical or up and down. 1 and 2. Now for the eyes. Up, around, and down. Up, round, and down. Our pig is looking off to the side. So we draw the pupils. Now for the mouth. We're going to give our pig some chubby cheeks. So we put a letter C and a letter C backwards. And then we're going to draw a curved line connecting them to one another. Just like this. The mouth is open slightly, so we're going to put a letter U shape. Now for the tongue inside the mouth. A line across, curved, like this. I want to fill in the inside of the mouth. Just color that all in. Just like this. Color it in nice and dark so we see inside the mouth. Just below the mouth is the lower lip. A little dash like this. Now for the head. We're going to start up just above the eye with a line coming down. And then we're going to come out, around, over, up, and there's another line. It should match pretty evenly. And then just some quick little lines across the top for a little bit of hair on top of the head. Eyebrows are a quick dash. Now for the ears. We're going to come out, around, and in. It forms a capital letter G. The other side is the same thing in reverse. Out, around, and in. Everything that's on the left is on the right. This is called symmetry. It's like a mirror image. If we were to put a line right down the middle of the drawing, the left side and the right side would match, but in reverse. Now for the body. We come down, out for an arm, down, in, and up. Again, remember symmetry. We want our left side to look like our right side, so same thing. Down, up, down, in, and up. Now for the hooves. Those are the little hands and feet. 1, 2, and then let's color that in a little bit. We're going to leave a little bit of white space there. Let's color it in just a little. Now for the rest of the body, we have a line curved down and down. And we want to make them submerged in the mud, just playing in a mud puddle. So we have just sort of this quick texture to the mud like this. So we're going to have a little bit of grass here as well, right up front. Just some quick lines. Scribble them in. 2 little lines on the belly. Now for his best friend, the duck. We have an oval. And then a letter C. Add the pupils. This time we're drawing what's called a side profile. He's looking to the side. Come out, down, and up. Add a little dash right there. Down, in. Now we're going to follow that line. We're going to come down, around, and up, and connect to the eye. We see a little bit of the tongue on the interior or inside of the mouth. And then again, color that in. 2 little lines on top of the beak. Now for the eyebrows. Let's make it 2 quick lines. For the head, we're going to start right on top of this eye here. Come around. Notice the back and forth texture of the line. Then down into the neck. And line up. Now for the first wing. Come out, point down, out, point in, out, point in, out, point in, scribble, 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 and in. For the body, we're going to come down, around, and up. See a couple little tail feathers sticking up back here. Now for the other hand. Out, thumb, out, point, and then scribble our way back in. 2 little lines form the belly. Now for the legs and feet. 1 line down, 2 lines down. 1 line down, 2 lines down. We're going to draw a letter C and then come out, add a letter W on its side, and then back in to match up right where we left off on that top of the letter C. Now the same thing in reverse. We're going to come around, out, letter W, and in. Good, there's a duck. Now to complete the drawing, we're going to add a little bit of the setting. Setting is where or when a story takes place. We're going to add just a couple little things. Behind our pig, we're going to maybe add a fence post. We come up, around, and down. Line across. There's another fence post over here. Around and down. Add a couple lines to go right behind our pig. Just like that. And over and down. Same thing down here. Right behind. You don't even have to draw the whole thing. You just draw part of it. You're just suggesting that there's a fence there. A little bit of texture on the fence post. And some grass in the background right behind the pig. And then we're going to complete this sort of mud puddle here. By just sort of coming around and adding a few lines to define the edges. And that's it. That's your pig and a duck on a farm. Be sure to sign your name. Take pride in your work. We've had a lot of fun today, but now it's time to draw to a close. See you next time.
Funding for this program is provided by the Pennsylvania Department of Education for Learning at Home.
Do you know what a zoologist does? I'm not totally sure, so I'm really curious to find out. Let's learn about how zoologists work in a field where they get to apply their love for animals.
Zoologists study the physical characteristics of animals, animal behavior, and the impacts humans have on wildlife and natural habitats. Most zoologists work in offices, laboratories, or outdoors. Depending on their job, they may spend considerable time in the field gathering data and studying animals in their natural habitats. To be a zoologist, you need a bachelor's degree, which is generally 4 years, a master's degree for higher-level investigative or scientific work, and a PhD for independent research positions and for university research positions. Zoologists analyze the influence that human activity has on wildlife and their natural habitats. They write research papers, reports, and scholarly articles that explain their findings and give presentations on research findings to academics and the general public. Zoologists need to be critical thinkers and possess excellent problem-solving skills, emotional stamina and stability, observational skills, and outdoor skills. Being a zoologist is rewarding in so many ways.
I get a chance to make a difference and have a purpose greater than myself, even greater than my community. To save a species or connect with a child are the two most important moments and most rewarding moments of my career.
Our jobs are the coolest jobs on the planet. Who else gets to go on boats and do research with marine animals? I get to do amazing things. I get to go to classrooms and talk to students about fishes. I get to talk with people about, what's happening at places of entertainment like SeaWorld. What does that mean and how does it get there?
Every time I go to Congo, I discover new species of fish. And it's remarkable. But when you say you discover new species, obviously the local people know those fishes and they have names for those fishes, but the scientific world doesn't know those fishes and it doesn't have names for those fishes. You have to know what fishes have been described from that region, what you might expect to find there, and then you find something that doesn't fit any of the descriptions. And you think, hey, maybe this is a new species, and that's really when the work begins.
What a show! I had so much fun drawing my delightful duck. What was your favorite part of the show?
On the next episode of Extra Credit, we're traveling to Eatonville, Florida, the home of one of the greatest writers of all time, plus a Detroit artist inspired by comics. Get your extra credit on the Michigan Learning Channel.
This program is made possible in part by Michigan Department of Education, the State of Michigan, and by viewers like you.